What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. My name's Jared. This is the LVME, and this is one of our Smokin Reactions. Today, we've got something unusual on the table, which is a song featuring Tom MacDonald. We don't get too many of those. Today, we've got Dax featuring Tom MacDonald. They did a collab before. What was it called? Tom MacDonald featuring Dax. Blame the Rappers. Not my favorite song, I gotta tell you. I like the message behind it, but overall, I mean, it's just not something like I'm ever gonna be driving down the road, and you're not gonna hear me bumping "Blame the Rappers." I have, however, been listening to this. I want to talk about this real quick before we check out this Dax. Anybody who's got Tom's 2 new CDs, I want to share a couple tracks that I really like without giving away the titles, though. Please don't put the song titles in the comments. Tom doesn't release his song titles beforehand other than the singles, and I don't think it's our place, being on YouTube, to put those out either. But we got numbers here. I am really digging track number 12 and track number 13, especially the unusual guitar, unusual for Tom, on 12. Those 2 tracks I like it pretty much the whole album, but those 2 are my favorites. I've been playing back to back for a minute now. I like those a lot. Let me know in the comments if you're checking this album out. Just give me the track numbers, and if it's not on Us Against the World, if it's on No Guts, No Glory, I haven't listened to this at all yet. Let me know what you think. All right, let's bounce over here, and let's check out Dax. I don't really know a lot about Dax. I mean, I know some of the history, like he was a janitor. He's an independent rapper. I saw one of his songs. I don't remember the title though, but it looked like it was something out of Mad Max, some like apocalypse type stuff. And I listened to another one, which I really didn't like, honestly. It was like him, dude. He was like crying about a girl or something. I don't like that in rap music. I don't like rap where you're crying about how you lost your girlfriend. It's just not my flavor of hip hop at all. So like I'll put up with Eminem because his is usually like angry, but not like the sad, like it was like a country song on rap. Whatever. Not here to talk about that. So I don't know enough to figure if I like Dax or not yet. I know he does have some skills though. So let me fire this up. It is a Smokin Reaction after all. And let's see what's going on here. Hold on 2 seconds. Grab the headphones. Who do you think goes first, Dax or Tom? As to what this is about, this is called propaganda. I'll tell you what I hope it's about, y'all. I hope that this is about the news media in the United States. I can't speak to the news media anywhere else. Which I feel is at an all-time high for what's in the title of this song. And if that's what it is, believe me, we're going to be talking about it. And speaking of that, real quick before we start, look, I pause these videos. We talk about the bars. It seems to drive a lot of people crazy. If that bothers you, you've never seen the song Propaganda featuring Tom before, then go ahead, click on the link in the description below. Watch the original video, then bounce back here and we can talk about it. All right, that said, all right, everybody, let's see what these guys got to say. Our own truth isn't always the reality.
Hey, Derek. You good, bro? You ain't picking up calls, dog. What's wrong, man? Daryl, you good? Hey. Hey, Daryl.
Did he say, hey, dear? Like honey, sweetheart, hey, dear?
Hey, Daryl. Don't lose yourself.
And all I see is propaganda.
liked the visuals with the TV. If you notice, it was like a monkey-looking dude on the TV, and how it was shooting right out into his chest, into what I would think would be right into his heart, because I knew this could be like poison, man. Then you see the results like reflected in his eyes. I like that a lot. Of course, you can tell the striking difference right away between a Tom MacDonald song and this, a Dax song, is that we're a minute and 15 seconds and we've heard no bars, and we heard a lot of music. I'm not knocking it. I just you notice the difference right away. It's good production here.
Propaganda, and all I see is propaganda. Propaganda. Yeah, united we stand, divided we fall. New Year's Eve, they've been dropping the ball. Independent, how we dead in the game. We don't write to the sound of applause. Hidden truth, dotted lines, ain't never signed, stood and remain the boss. In a world that is full of facades, where if you speak, you get nailed to a cross. I won't be silent, I am outspoken. I am the product of pain, so when you see my name, no fame could never break down a brain that is already broken. Every wound is a paid devotion. They fill words as I purge emotion. Scabs hair as I drop hits that bleed light from demonic omens. The system decides we spend and we buy, while most of our time is spent in bed. The dreams we have all stay inside. We sleep and wake and live with regret. The price of life is half the cost. The price of fame could cost your head. If infamy is what you seek and propaganda is what you spread. Propaganda.
I like his flow. Dax is a good rapper. I didn't really see anything to stop and talk about. I mean, it's pretty simple. I like the visuals that going along. This is clearly a video, and I was going to keep comparing him to Tom since Tom's featured in the song. Tom's videos tend to just be him solo almost all the time, or him on a set, but various. This has got a lot of outside people in it, more of like a movie. I do like how the screen keeps showing and it says news you can trust. Yeah. Is there such a thing? We all like to think there is. Problem with news propaganda, and I don't know if Dax was alluding to this or not, or if Tom will, but everybody has the natural tendency to overlook it or excuse it if it's done in a way that they support, or in a viewpoint that they agree with, or the basis behind it is something that they feel is good. Okay? There's a lot of that going on, and it shouldn't matter. Propaganda is bad if your team, so to speak, does it, or if the other team does it. We should be equally outraged at it. Whether it's promoting things that you feel are good, or if it's promoting things that you find appalling, it's still bullshit.
Every wound is a paid devotion. They fill words as I purge emotion. Scabs hair as I drop hits that bleed light from demonic omens. The system decides we spend and we buy, while most of our time is spent in bed. The dreams we have all stay inside. We sleep and wake and live with regret. The price of life is half the cost. The price of fame could cost your head. If infamy is what you seek and propaganda is what you spread. Propaganda. Propaganda. And all I see is propaganda. They convince us all that everything we say is racist, and blood will change it, that's what happens. Y'all need balance, y'all need blacks and whites and lefts and rights to stop the madness. They planned it. It's Trump.
Yes, you need balance. You need left and right. You can't have one without the other. Your goal shouldn't be your political goals, whatever they might be. It shouldn't be to destroy the other side. And yes, there's times in political history when the other side has gone too far. It's happened to both. I mean, you could argue that it happened with the Republicans back in the Goldwater days. And you can argue that it's happening now with the liberals. But the problem is what the song is about, the level of propaganda then versus now. It's on a whole different level. And you've got the propagandists the peddlers of this nonsense, the mainstream news media, wholly supporting one side, one ideology. And so many people seem willing to go along with it because they align themselves with that ideology as well. It's very disturbing. Oh, it's very disturbing. But the key thing is always division. You want to talk about propaganda? Which propaganda have you heard about this in your life? But I'll tell you a real quick story before we get back to this. When my daughter was younger, I was a single parent, raised my kid by myself. And when she was younger, I couldn't hide the fact that I was a cannabis user. And I told her straight up, you know, this is not the same as other drugs, what we would call hard drugs, that I'm not going to name on this channel. It's not the same thing. It doesn't have the same effects. It's not the same class. You know, and then she went to school, I think it was second grade, and came back talking about how the DARE officer came in there and said that this right here would actually make their parents insane, like crazy. So little second graders, if your parents are smoking the wacky tobacco, that's literally going to make them crazy. So you need to report to me or your teachers or the principal any type of that activity that's going on in your household. And ironically, after I assured her that that was a bunch of fucking nonsense, it was less than 6 months after that that cannabis became legal in Colorado. And now we live in Las Vegas where it's legal as well, and there's some 37 states now that have some form of legal cannabis, and that was proven to be outright propaganda. There's propaganda for fucking years around this plant. And no matter what side of the political spectrum you fall upon, you should be able to stop and think like, geez, okay, clearly there was a lot of lies about cannabis. I mean, from shit back in the old days, talking about it was going to drive the minorities crazy to go rape all the white women. I mean, that was a real fucking thing. Fucking jazz musicians getting labeled. This getting thrown right in there with crazy drugs that are nowhere near it. And so you think that they'll lie about that and not lie about everything else? You think they'll lie about Trump and not everything else? I mean, whether you like that guy or not, it's undeniable. There was a lot of propaganda. Anyways, back to this. Back to what Tom is saying, which is probably going to be similar to what I just said.
We're dated, indoctrinated. They convince us all that everything we say is racist. And blood will change it, that's what happens. Y'all need balance. Y'all need blacks and whites and lefts and rights to stop the madness. They planned it. It's Trump or Biden, we all been divided by it in the streets. Elections always been rigged. I ain't surprised when somebody cheats. All I see is pentagrams of the propaganda, but our priority's a vaccine. It ain't hard for wolves to find a flock when the sheep are fast asleep. Too many people lack character. Too many journalists scaring you. Too
many journalists lack character. Too many journalists are scaring you. I think that's what he said. Yeah. I think there was a time in this country, and maybe I'm naive with this thought, but I truly believe it, that there was a time in this country when journalists actually held themselves in too high of an esteem to like sit and put out the type of fucking bullshit that they do now. I remember a time when it used to be like taboo for a news reporter to even hint at what side politically that they leaned. Like that was just a thing that wasn't fucking done. Like Walter Cronkite, not that I was alive or listened to his fucking, to be clear, but I'm saying from what I understand, that man was not out there sharing his personal political beliefs. And that combined with the 24-hour news cycle and the talking head shows where you have all these political opinion shows that so many people mistakenly think are news when they're opinions. Like Sean Hannity, for all my friends on the right, if you want to label yourself that, Sean Hannity is not giving you the news any more than to my friends on the left, Rachel Maddow is not giving you the news. They're giving you their opinions about the news.
many pencils to turn.
Unfortunately, the fucking newscasters are giving you their opinions about the news too. That's where the problem comes in.
Then to rewrite the Constitution, they probably gonna tear it up. I love the country, but I don't trust the people taking care of us. We went to bed with the American dream. We woke up in Nightmerica.
Ooh.
And all I see is propaganda.
I like that bar. He said we went to bed with the American dream and woke up in Nightmerica. Yeah. That's the best bar of the song right there from either guy.
Too many journalists scaring you. Too many.
Yeah, I want to hear that part. That too many journalists scaring you. It's so true.
Trump or Biden, we all been divided by it in the streets. Elections have always been rigged. I ain't surprised when somebody cheats. All I see is pentagrams of the propaganda, but our priority's a vaccine. It ain't hard for wolves to find a flock when the sheep are fast asleep. Too many people lack character. Too many journalists scaring you. Too many pencils attempting to rewrite the Constitution. They probably gonna tear it up. I love the country, but I don't trust the people taking care of us. We went to bed with the American dream. We woke up in Nightmerica.
Right.
And all I see is propaganda.
Really like that visual right there. That. Sitting him right in the heart. You can see the TV reflected in his eyes. It's a good visual.
And all I see is propaganda. Propaganda. And all I see is propaganda. Propaganda. And all I see is propaganda. Propaganda.
All right. Let's talk about this for a second. First off, I like the song. I mean, it's not the greatest thing I ever heard, but it's not bad at all. I guess Dax has a little bit of pipes there, too. He can sing a bit. I like the message behind the song, for sure. Hold on, I got ashes I got to clean up here. Hold on. I like it when they blow all over the table. All right. Let me tell you what I did with the propaganda, because I am 100% on board with both of them when it comes to the fact that there's too much of that going on right now. And I came up with the only solution that worked for me. And this was shortly after the results came out of the 2020 election. And it was just enough. Like, enough was enough was enough. Like, there's too much bullshit on there. And when you become aware of the bullshit, and it doesn't all come from the left side, there's some on the right as well. Don't get me wrong. It's just there's a dominance on one side compared to the other. I mean, if you don't think Trump ever issued any fucking bullshit, I mean, come on. Like, I mean, anyways, my solution, is I turned it off. That's what I did with the propaganda. I turned that shit off. I haven't watched any news broadcasts at all since the day after the election. So November, 5th, 4th. The only news that I get is Tim Pool. I am a subscriber to Tim Pool's various channels, and so I get notifications. I don't watch any of his videos. I haven't watched a Tim Pool video since then either, but I do sometimes read the titles. And I check, I'll tell you straight up, I'll tell you everything I do. I check my local news, the Las Vegas Review-Journal. I check that shit every day to make sure there's not crazy things popping off. I mean, we are in a pandemic still. There are crazy things that happen. So I make sure, check the headlines, make sure everything's cool. And I read the shit that Tim Pool's headlines a little bit, and that's about it. What's the point of getting stressed out about it all? Or doesn't it make you mad? You see what's going on, and it's absolutely appalling, right? You see the Afghanistan shit. That doesn't get you upset. I mean, come on. This dude botched all that. Like, come on. That's not how we leave countries. It's ridiculous. And these other things that are going on, well, what are you going to do? You get mad. You're not going to change it. It's not going to erase anything that's done. It doesn't erase anything Biden did. It doesn't erase anything Trump did. If you're one of those people that just fucking like hated Trump, You got all stressed out watching the news every day. You're like, oh my God, Trump. Oh, what for what, man? Sorry, it's shaking. I know I got to get a new setup. I can't put my hands on here. It shakes. It's a habit. This is mostly used for an audio setup. It's for podcasting, so it doesn't really matter. But now I'm using it for videos. Anyways, dude, just turn that shit off. That's what I did. I turned it off. And I'm someone that used to want to be informed to an extensive level. What's the point? You know, I'm not gonna run for office. I can't get bogged down with the news. Like, and Tom has a song on here actually. Which one was it? Yes. I'm not gonna name it. It's on here. I do believe it's track 7. Yeah. Anyways, I only listened to that one time all the way through. Anyways, good song on here. That's how I solved the propaganda thing. I turned it off. I had to turn it off. I can't take it anymore. Life's too short to get that stressed out about things you can't change. That's my viewpoint. Maybe you want to run with that. Maybe you don't. Do whatever you like. Thanks for tuning in. Let me know what you think of this song, what you think of what they had to say, and what do you think of my ranting about it down in the comments below, when I will try to answer as many as I possibly can. If you're brand new to the channel, please hit the thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe as well. Hit the thumbs down. Hey, if you didn't like it, I don't care. And finally, if you're into mixed martial arts and cannabis or any type of combat sports, check out my podcast I do with my co-host. It's called SWAT MMA. We've got big things coming on the show. We've just got done interviewing Terrence McKinney from the UFC. He owns the second fastest KO in UFC history. We've got several interviews with BKFC fighters coming up, and links are appearing on your screen right now. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you on the next one, all right? Peace.